Welcome back, boxing fans, to another great show with Sean on Boxing. If you're a big NBA fan, check out my channel, Sean on Ball. We'll be talking about the NBA playoffs later tonight, breaking it down, giving my predictions on who I think is going to get through the first round and why. So jump in, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you over there. For now, we're going to be talking about this week's boxing events. I'm going to be making my predictions. If you're a big gambler, leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me which of these ones you think I have correct and which ones do I have wrong. Obviously, I make my predictions without looking out the vaguest predictions stuff. I basically go off of just my personal feelings and experience. Obviously, not going through maybe the critical perspective that maybe gamblers would use. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. I look forward to hearing your responses. Until that, let's have a short announcement or break, and I'll be back after this. Welcome back. So it's not the biggest week of big name fighters, but there's a lot of fights worth paying attention to. And we're going to look at that as we move forward. So let's just jump in. Oh, there we go. So obviously the biggest fight card is probably Whittaker Cameron, a UK card on Sky, which is going to be on April 20th, the Sunday, which is a little strange time to be having the event. But nonetheless, Whittaker is a guy who was an Olympian. Obviously, he has that Roy Jones-esque sort of quality, but also is a huge talker, a little bit like Ben and Eubank, right? These UK guys, they like to fucking lip off. And because of that, he's very loved and hated. And this has sort of really built up his name so that boxing fans are really eager to see this rematch between Whittaker and Cameron. Obviously, Whittaker was called Quittaker after his first performance with Cameron, which was pretty disappointing for a guy that's thought to be probably one of the future superstars in British boxing. And Cameron, who obviously was a very good amateur fighter, but has some personal problems that sort of got in the way of his pro career, really surprised people, performing very well in that fight. And many people felt that if the fight would have continued, Cameron probably would have scored knockout. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Obviously, this is one of the predictions we're going to be looking at in today's videos, but let's move forward and break it down and check it out. So I'm going to go with Bakara Samaka. Bakara Samaka is 17-0 with 9 KOs. He's fighting Rourke Knapp, 17-2-1, 12 KOs, and a 12-rounder for the WBC Silver Junior Weight Middleweight title. Let's just check this out and see. Oh, no, that didn't work out. Let me try again. Add to stage. Well, I guess I need to remove this. Yeah, I need to hook up my little button. I have like the little remote control thing. If I hook that up, it'll be much more seamless. So there we go. Samake, French fighter. Obviously, French, they consistently still have some solid fighters, right? Some people to pay attention to. He is one. Usually they have some bigger fighters. You have two guys currently at 168 that are two really, really high level super middleweights right now. Here is Samaki, 17-0, 9 KOs, 21 years old, very young, right? Obviously, an up-and-coming young French fighter. He's been in with solid European-level competition. He's going to be fighting Knapp. Knapp, I'm sure you guys have seen him around, South African fighter, 26 years old. Obviously, stopped twice in his 2 losses. Good little power fighter. Got beat by Jorge Garcia Perez, who we will be talking about later on today as well. He has a good fight coming up against Charles Conwell and Brandon Tice, who stopped him in 7. So, Samaki is not the biggest power puncher. When you look at Perez, who obviously has 26 knockouts in 32 fights, and then I don't know about Tice, let's check him out. Tice, who has 13 knockouts in 18. You can see these guys are hard punchers, a little harder than the French fighter. That's why today, for this prediction, I am going by way of, where is it? Let me check it out. There we go. We'll just skip right to the back. So Samaki, I have by split decision. So Obviously, in this prediction league that I pick, if you predict a KO, a split decision, or majority win, you get more points. If you predict these and you just get the win, you still get points for the win, even if you didn't predict the specific sort of situation. So it's always better to pick a majority, a KO, or a split decision. So obviously that's the reason I went for a split decision. I do expect it's probably going to be a unanimous decision for Samaki. But nonetheless, it's an intriguing matchup between two very good fighters. We can scroll back and check out the other fights today as well. The other big one that you saw, I mentioned earlier, is the Kovalev fight. Obviously, Kovalev is potentially a future Hall of Famer. He was a unified world champion in the light heavyweight division. Obviously, lost to Andre Ward once by a very controversial fight, and then obviously a little more conclusive in the second rematch. Has moved up to cruiserweight, has had some good wins, but lost his last fight, which has really sort of led him to the point now where he is eagerly looking forward to a retirement, from what I hear. He's going to be fighting a very good veteran fighter in Arthur Mann for his last professional fight. Mann, 22-4, 13 KOs, a solid opponent, a guy who's been a solid cruiserweight contender for a number of years now. Obviously, Kovalev has moved up in weight, so he wasn't always naturally a cruiserweight fighter, but is a more skilled fighter, obviously able to fight behind a very educated jab, has a good right hand. So the question is, since he knows he's retiring, how much and how motivated is he really going to be? Obviously, he would prefer to get a victory before going to retirement, right? That would be the ultimate sort of way of ending his career. So we will see what he's able to do. I am predicting that he's going to win by majority decision. I do think he's going to win, but I don't think it's going to be a conclusive ass whooping. Then you have Kevin Brown, 6-0 with 3 KOs, fighting Estieri Suera, 14-2, 10 KOs. Suera, a good power puncher. Obviously not an easy to look past fighter. Brown, 6-0 with 3 KOs, up and coming young fighter. Not much power, but obviously very skilled. I'm predicting him by split decision victory. On the other side, you have Henry Cedeño, 15-0, 11 KOs, versus Idalberto Umara, 13-3-9. This is a good little clash. International WBO Intercontinental Junior welterweight title on DAZN. I have Cedeño winning by knockout. I will show you the result at the end when we get to it. And then, of course, you have tough heavyweight Cuban fighter Lenario Pereiro, whose brother is also very well received heavyweight as well. Currently, he's 11-0 with 8 KO. His brother's a little younger with less professional fights. He's going to be fighting Detrelius Webster, 9-4-5 KOs for a 10-round heavyweight fight. Pereira, he was one of the up-and-coming PBC stable heavyweights, but obviously the PBC hasn't been having many fights recently, so he hasn't been as active as I would prefer a fighter like him to be. But I do think, based on this level of opponent, he is going to score an early knockout. So I predicted, I think, 3rd round. So let's see if he's able to give me the money fight that I'm hoping for. Also, you have up-and-coming young fighter, Armenian Georgian Hovhannissian, 7-0 with 6 KOs. He's going to be fighting a veteran fighter in Dejuan Callaway, 11-3-9 in an 8-round heavyweight fight. Hovhannissian was a high-level amateur fighter, World Games competitor. I'm not sure if he won a medal or not, but I do recall him actually fighting. Obviously, the super heavyweight division was tough. You had the tough Uzbekistan fighter, the 6'7" fighter that was there. So he's hard for anyone to get by. I do think that Hovhannissian is going to walk over Callaway and is probably going to be in less than 3 rounds. I think I predicted 2nd round TKO in this fight to move him to 8-0 with 7 KOs. Also on the card, Tsuchiro Yoshino. You may remember him for his disappointing performance against Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson, I thought, had probably the best performance of his career against Yoshino. Looked really good, really had me optimistic about what he was going to do in the pro game, especially once he moved to 135. really put his punches together well. Looked like he had some good pop on his shots, and really took Yoshino apart. And Yoshino's not a bad fighter, 17-1. Obviously, the only loss coming to Shakur Stevenson, 13 KOs. So he's a tall, long power puncher. He's going to be fighting Shiro Choi, 9-0 with 6 KOs. Many people could potentially think that Choi, the up-and-coming young fighter, is using Yoshino to build his name and move forward in his career. And possibly that is what's going on. But I have faith in Yoshino, the more experienced fighter. I feel he's the more powerful puncher, and I do think he's going to take apart the up-and-coming young fighter in their lightweight fight. This fight is a #1 YouTube fight world #1 on YouTube. So that's excellent. We're going to be able to watch that free and easy. And if it's in Japan, it's going to be perfect timing for me. Saturday evening. Then we get to a UK fight card. Solid fight. Anyone that watches UK fight cards is from the UK is probably going to be pretty excited by this card. Dalton Smith is a really highly acclaimed up-and-coming 140-pound fighter. Right now, he's right in position to get that WBC world title fight. So this is really just a stay busy fight. Obviously, he needs to win so he doesn't cost himself the opportunity to fight for that title against Puello. He's 17-0, 13 KOs, fighting Matthew Germain, who's a live body European level fighter, 26-2-1, 11 KOs. Obviously, not a dangerous puncher. And when you don't want to cost yourself a world title fight, you're definitely not putting yourself in there with hard punchers who potentially are going to ruin your momentum. Look forward to Smith getting a late round TKO versus Germain. I predicted a 9th round TKO. Obviously, this is going to be a stay busy fight, but also keeping him in shape, keeping him sharp. So when the Puello opportunity comes, he's ready to capitalize on it. Dalton Smith is going to try to become a world champion by the end of 2025. On the undercard, of course, you have tough Irish fighter. If I can't pronounce his name, don't blame me. Comine Yarko, 16-0, 7 KOs, skilled fighter, obviously a very good amateur fighter, black Irish fighter. So that's one reason he gets a lot of attention, because he's definitely not what you expect when you talk about Irish fighters. He's going to be fighting Ryan Kelly, 19-5-1, 8 KOs. And it's a similar situation, right? They're trying to build up the young Irish fighter. He's not the biggest power puncher, but he's a skilled fighter. So they're trying to give him the experience he needs moving forward. Ryan Kelly is just that. He's a veteran fighter that can give him some rounds, continue to help him mature and get prepared for what he may face in the pro game. Josh Warrington, I did predict Coim to win by split decision. As I said, split decision gets me points more than just saying a unanimous decision. I don't think he's going to be able to get the veteran Ryan Kelly out of there. But if he surprises me, good on him. Josh Warrington, 31-4-1, 8 KOs. Looked as if he was retiring, but he's back against this fighter, Khan, 19-6-1 with 5 KOs. Obviously, neither one of these guys are hard punchers. Warrington was always a volume fighter that just outworked his opponents, which was great when he was young and had a great gas tank and was able to just outwork everybody. But eventually, when you step up and take on legitimate opponents, high-level fighters, guys with power, guys that are a little more natural to the weight, and he's a pretty small fighter, eventually you find your level. And Warrington definitely found his level, took a few losses, and sent himself into retirement. Obviously, coming back, who knows? Maybe he's looking forward to a fight versus the two UK 130-pound fighters that are going to be fighting coming up sometime in May. Maybe he thinks if he wins, he can get a fight with the winner, and he probably can. And that would be a pretty good UK fight for those fighters as far as a potential 130-pound world title. So I do expect him to win, but it's probably going to be a split decision or majority decision. He doesn't have much power, so I don't think he's going to go in there and do anything extraordinary. Another interesting fight is Josh Padley. Obviously, we just saw him recently get beat by Shakur Stevenson. Currently 15-1, 4 KOs. Obviously, his loss coming to Shakur. He's going to be fighting Marco Sventanovic, 13-0-6. This is a good fight. Obviously, he got a good payday, a good opportunity, fought for a WBC world title. Now he's jumping in on DAZN to take on a good young up-and-coming fighter similar to him. So this could be a very intriguing scrap. I do think Padley, based on his experience, he's probably was able to focus more on training now, especially after being in the ring with Shakur, banking a little more money than usual. So he's probably not going to have to, do his day job to the same extent that he was, which is going to give him more time to really focus on his boxing career, which at this point he should, because you're either all in or you're fucking all out, really, when you're sort of at his age. So I do think he's going to win by decision. A good, young, exciting fighter from Kazakhstan is Sadriddin Akhmedov, 15-0 with 13 KOs. Obviously a good amateur fighter, now trying to become a good pro, fighting for the junior middleweight fight on UFC Fight Pass. He's going to be fighting Elias Espandas, 23-6. 16 KOs. So you're getting in there with a tough Mexican fighter with a lot of experience. He should be able to give you rounds, should be able to make you work. But at the end of the day, I do think Akhmedov is going to stop him. But I do think the Mexican fighter is going to, make it well worth our while, and is going to push the fighter quite a bit from Kazakhstan. So I look forward to a later stoppage in this fight. Also, another Kazakhstani fighter, Umar Zambedov, 10-0 with 7 KOs. Also on this card is fighting Sonny McEwen, 11-1-7 for light heavyweight. The Uzbekistans, really look forward to them over the next probably decade to dominate the light heavyweight division. They have a lot of very good light heavyweight fighters, a lot of coming up really exciting young fighters. There's one fighter I was watching who's currently an amateur. He looks sensational. I wonder if I can find him now that I'm here. Let's just see if I can. Oh, here's a fighter to pay attention to. Ruslan. Oh, he's good. 140-pound fighter, but not the one I'm talking about. Where is he? His name is very difficult to fucking. Oh, here's a great fighter. Good young fighter in Vegas. There he is. Vegas for the Inui card. Where is he? Riedo Tsitsumi. His brother, Hideato, is very good, but the younger brother, he is the Japanese Lomachenko. You've heard it here first. Oh, my kids. Cute. Wow. Let's take that screenshot. Wank bank material. God damn. Let me see if I just write in the beginning of his name. Oh, there it was. I knew if I wrote his name in, it'd pop up. This kid. Chekahir Umatalayev. Wow, he's good. Champion of the world, champions of Asia, 3 times gold, 2 times silver, followed by the guy I just talked about, Ruslan Abdelayev. Obviously, teammates from the Uzbekistani team. Uzbekistani team, which probably should have won 6 gold medals in this past Olympics. They won 5. Ruslan ended up getting robbed in the cards to the Canadian fighter, but probably would have ended up going on to win the gold if that didn't happen. Great team. I know some people really in their feelings about potentially Eastern Europe taking over boxing. And I don't know if they'll take over boxing, but they're definitely going to be more of a staple in the future. More so, I think, than Kazakhstan. Then, of course, a big card from the States. Gabriel Fundora is fighting Marilyn Badillo. Very good fight, for the undisputed Ring Magazine flyweight title on DAZN. Gabby's obviously the better fighter than her brother. She's going to be fighting a very solid fighter. I do expect Funduro to win, but as I said, I'm picking her by majority decision. On the undercard, a fighter that I'm always excited to watch, Charles Conwell, 21-0, 16 KOs. He's going to fight the fighter I mentioned earlier, Jorge Garcia Perez, 32-4, 26 KOs. I know a lot of people don't know who Perez is, so they're going to think that Conwell's just going to walk through him, destroy him, and that he's fighting not really a great opponent, a low-level fighter, which is an ignorant way of looking at the sport, because when Conwell struggles with him, then they're going to talk about how Conwell is overrated or a hype job or was exposed, but that's just because they don't know any better. The truth is, Perez is a tough fighter. He's taller, he's longer, he's more experienced than Charles. Charles is a very good fighter, but he struggles being a shorter fighter with shorter arms, getting inside his range. He is definitely a mid-range fighter, old school throwback, tough as nails motherfucker, with some serious power. But I don't think he's going to knock out Perez. Perez is a very good fighter who's been in with very high-level opposition. So I look forward to Perez really giving Conwell some good rounds. Conwell sneaking through with a potential majority decision in a fight that should be a fucking all-out war. All-out war. It should be fun while it goes on, well, as I think it's going to go on the whole fight. Also on this card, you have Tristan Kalkaruth, a very hyped cruiserweight fighter. At one time, he was getting tons of praise, very fast hands, fluid fighter. People thought he was going to be a potential American superstar. Ended up getting beat very early to a mediocre fighter and is trying to build himself back up. Currently 14-1, 10 KOs. He's facing veteran Dominican Republic fighter Felix Valero, 23-7, 20 KOs. My prediction is Valero by late knockout, and really showing Kalkaruth that he's just not that man. He ain't that man. Sorry, Stan. Also in the undercard, David Benavidez' best victory of his career, Alexander Vostik, 20-2, 16 KOs, facing Anthony Holloway, 9-7-3, 7 KOs for an 8-rounder. I guess it's nice that Golden Boy had an option on him and they're giving him a fight, but this really looks like a fucking throwaway fight. Not interested at all. Golden Boy definitely is not paying him very much, I would think, for this fight, and definitely not really putting him in a position to put himself in a position moving forward. You fight a guy like this, who cares? This is a terrible opponent. And if he gets beat by this guy, what's that going to say about fucking David Benavidez? So he better look good. He better be impressive. He better get the stoppage win. Otherwise, this victory does not age very well for David Benavidez in the light heavyweight division. Then the big card that I mentioned earlier from the UK, the second big UK card from the weekend, Ben Whittaker, 8-0 with 1 draw against Liam Cameron, 23-6-1. Obviously, that draw against Whittaker, 10 KOs. I'm excited. I know a lot of people hate Ben Whittaker and look forward to him getting beat. I think he's going to have his Roy Jones moment in this fight. We saw, of course, Ben go through a similar position early on in his career where he struggled with a tough French fighter, ended up rematching him, also struggled in the rematch as well. So we'll see if Whittaker can overcome that. He's working with a very good trainer right now, and I do think he looks in great shape. I expect him to be fast, super dangerous early, and I expect him to stop Liam Cameron probably around the 8th or 9th round. Cameron's a tough man, but there's levels to this shit. Also on this undercard, a solid fight between Fraser Clark, my Jamaican brethren, 8-1-1, 6 KOs, fighting Ebenezer Tete, 23-2, 20 KOs. This is going to be a fucking slugfest, a war. Fraser Clark, obviously a very good amateur, a lot more amateur pedigree than Ebenezer Tete, but Tete is a much more experienced professional, obviously a hard puncher. Both of these guys got fucking granite in their fists, so it's going to be an interesting fight. I predict Frazier by close split decision. Then Lee Cutler, 15-1, 7 KOs versus Sam Egerton, 35-9, 20 KOs. Should be a great fight. Cutler is kind of the new generation. Sam is kind of the old generation, right? The guy that sort of sent Paulie Malignaggi into retirement. I expect Lee Cutler to win this fight. Sam is a good fighter, but he's always shown levels. He's always shown against certain fighters he can look great, but once he steps up to that next level, he inevitably gets beat 9 times, right? And he's not a bad fighter, so those 9 losses are not really the whole story. Let's just put it that way. Overall, here are my predictions. Samake by split decision, Kovalev by majority decision, Brown by split decision, Sendeno by 7th round TKO, Pero by 2nd round TKO, Hovesian by 4th round TKO, Yoshino by 6th round TKO, Dalton Smith by 9th round TKO, Agrato by split decision, Warrington by majority decision, Padley by split decision, Akhmedov by 8th round TKO. I do feel he's probably going to get the guy out earlier than that. But, I'm just being cautious, I suppose. Dan Becca by split decision, Funduro by majority decision, Conwell by split decision, Valero by 8th round TKO, Vosdick by 7th round TKO, Whitaker by 8th round TKO, Clark by majority decision, Cutler by split decision. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about these predictions? Do you agree? Disagree? Break it down. Give me your opinions in the comment section below. I'm interested to see how we are seeing these things different, or if I'm on the right track and you think that these predictions are solid and able to get me back into first place. Because I think, let's see, I'm slipping in my prediction league. I was in the top 10, but the last couple of weeks I've dropped. Unfortunately, it's a hot, cold type of situation. Where am I? I'm not getting a lot of those TKOs. KO stats, I have 0 for the new year. Man, split decisions, 0. That's the big difference. When you're getting those extra points, it really helps you. When you're missing them out, it hurts. I had 120 points last week, so I'm not sure exactly where I'm in the standings anymore. He didn't put the standings here. But the week before, where was I? Uh, ah, 19th. Mind you, I'm 1 point behind 18, 10 points behind Trey X. I wonder if Trey X still has a channel. He used to have a channel on YouTube. Obviously, I got to move up quite a bit after 13, 13, 13, 13. Yeah, it's all close. Even the top guy, D. Jefferson. Look at D. Jefferson. Whatever happened to his channel? He's dominating, getting points. 1440. Toby Bartlett, 1410. Those two guys always do very well. I'm trying to get into the top 10 by the end of the year. That's my goal. But we will see. Wish me luck. Let me know what you think. And stay tuned to my basketball predictions. I'll be doing that later on today. So see you there. Peace out. And see you Sunday, if possible, for live boxing coverage later. Enjoy your week.